I'm interested in this caller, Z, who wants help with
Yeah.
deconstructing. Are you down?
Yep. Yes.
Hey, Z, how are you?
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Okay. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I see you're calling from North Carolina. Are you where the flooding is happening?
No, I'm
Okay,
actually
good.
not. Yes, I'm doing good. But yeah,
Good,
it's
good.
Bob. It's Bob on
So
here.
sad
Yes,
what's
I know.
happening. If you guys aren't aware,
Yeah.
everyone please go look at the news after and pay attention to the flooding
Yes.
that's happening in North Carolina and Tennessee. Anyway, sorry. Side note. Thanks for letting me pitch that real quick. But
No,
what did you
you're
want to talk
good.
to
No,
us
you're
about
good.
tonight, Z?
So I am a theist, but I am deconstructing Christianity specifically. I just want to get to that
Okay.
point.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been caught in a lot of thought terminating cliches where it's like, God is sovereign and God is good, but then you read things like the topic you're talking about with the misogyny in the Bible, and it's like I can't unsee it. It's really hard,
Yeah.
like it's very present. So when I have those things where it's like, like for me personally, like I've had my own like I would say supernatural experiences with the Christian God where I feel like, oh, this person is answering my thoughts or what I'm thinking or things of that nature, which I know sounds crazy, but I just needed help. Like, how do I go about like that process of deconstructing that thought terminating cliche of like his ways are higher than my ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, can I ask you just real quick, which denomination did you grow up in, or did you grow up in it? Which denomination did you deconstruct from, or are you deconstructing? Yeah. Thank you. That's the
So
word.
my story is a little bit funny because when I was younger, I was Baptist, but I was a kid, so like I didn't really understand so much of the Bible. Like I was
Sure.
just like, love Jesus, Jesus is great,
Of course.
When I became a teenager, I just started to become more spiritual. Like me and my family are more like spiritual meditation, stuff like that. But recently, just being in a college, and there's a lot of people do a lot of mission trips and stuff like that. I've been more exposed to it again. So I was like, oh, maybe this is, the Christian God calling me back or wanting me to convert or something like that. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? Like, it's a confirmation bias, like, what's happening? But not to get all too personal, but I haven't been in it my whole life. I've just recently started to, like, actually read the Bible and see what's about. And I'm like, this stuff doesn't make sense. But, I guess if I'm being called to it, it must be right. So that's kind of where I'm stuck at. But yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So much of that is just the conditioning, and those are the verses that stick with you because those are the ones that are kind of shut things down the fastest. Like if you're told that, his ways are higher than ours, then suddenly, I remember being 16 and being like, well, I guess I can't question anything because his ways are higher than mine. Like, what a quick way to shut things down is by having that out there. Well, here's my question back, though. Why did he create beings that are incapable of comprehending him and his ways? Was that intentional? If so, that's really fucked up. Or was he not that powerful? Or maybe is that God just something that humans made up? So I can hear Alyssa's dog snoring. I was like, what is that? Sorry.
I know.
So there's all kinds of things I could tell you like that. I could make you feel better by giving you my responses back. And, there's people that make content, people like me, other people that respond to those sorts of specific things. So advice number one, maybe go look up some of those, like argument against blah, 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 whatever it is that you have kind of swimming around your head. Also, just to validate you, that's really normal for those things to come up. I had something I was diagnosed with. I can't remember the exact term for it, like religious OCD, basically. And it comes with religious trauma. And that's a very real thing. And I, just to encourage you, I don't, quote, struggle with it anymore. It's not that I don't experience the impact of that, but I have the tools now to handle that and process it when those things come up. And I don't know if you've heard of them, but Recovering from Religion is an amazing organization. They have a hotline where you can call them about these specific things that come to mind. And they have resources for therapy. They have resources for learning about religious trauma. So I highly recommend them. Recoveringfromreligion.org. We raise a lot of money for them here on the line because the work that they do is incredible and it's really, really helpful. So that would be my advice. Alyssa, do you have anything?
I think having a lot of flexibility, and I mean, grace is a word that people use in such religious context all the time, so I'm trying not to use that word, but that's really the only word that I can think of.
I still use it.
Yeah, like having grace with yourself while you're navigating all of this, because it's gonna be challenging, and at the end of the day, it's your life and you make the rules. Like, you can decide what you want to believe in, and if you want to believe in like bits and pieces of, you know, I believe that there is a God, but maybe just not the one that I originally thought existed, then that's okay. If you end up going down that thought path and being like, you know what, maybe I don't believe that there's one at all, that's also okay. Like, you have what I think organized religion has made us feel like you have to subscribe to like this whole thing, when in reality, like, you're an individual human being, and you can kind of decide what you want to believe in. The problem is that these organized religions make really bad choices. And so, you know, like, aligning with one can have like some moral and ethical implications. But in terms of like what you independently believe, you have the freedom to design that the way that you choose. I don't know. I feel like that kind of helped me when I was deconstructing and kind of like finding my way through all of it, because I think even now, hearing labels like atheist or agnostic or whatever, like it can feel a little daunting to be like, well, now I have to label myself as something else, when in reality you don't have to label yourself as anything, and you can sort of like navigate it however you need to, especially now while you're in this part of like the whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that advice. Yeah.
I'm going to give it two last things that I always say to people who are new to deconstructing, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even like that term, but it's helpful to express things like what we're talking about now. But my two pieces of advice are, as a skeptic, I tell everybody, ask all of the questions. Don't leave any stone unturned. If you're afraid to ask it, ask that one first, because it will make everything else so much easier. And what's true shouldn't be afraid of questioning. So that should be the encouragement there. And the second piece of advice I have for you is, the stakes are not high, in that you don't have to worry about your eternal soul. You don't have to figure out tomorrow if you think there's a God or not, or any of that stuff. Take your time, similar to what Alyssa's saying, but take your time, and you don't have to arrive at a certain conclusion by a certain day. You can give yourself that time to really ask all of the questions, and to not be afraid of asking, and keep asking. I'm still every day asking questions and being a skeptic, and wanting to know the whys and the hows and the whats and all of that. And I think that's the valuable asset to where I've landed as an atheist skeptic. It's the skepticism. My skepticism happened to lead me to atheism, but it's the skepticism that's the real tool here. And that's what I would encourage you to actually pursue. Not any sort of religion or non-religion, or, like Alyssa said, titles, but pursue skepticism. And to me, that's curiosity. That curiosity that cares about what is true. So those are my last words to you.
Thank you. And I was just going to ask you one quick thing that, and this is all this body is great. It's definitely great. I'm definitely going to check out the Recovering from Religion, you said? Recoveringfromreligion.org. I'm going to check that out. So one of the biggest things, because I feel like a lot of Christian doctrine tries to tell us that with limits specifically, we're supposed to be subjected because of Eve, or what Eve did. But when I'm reading Genesis, it says that, they had the tree of, knowledge and good and evil, the garden, whatever, which I feel like is asserting that Eve wouldn't have known if, eating this fruit is good or evil. Like there is a verse where she says she sees that the fruit is like good or pleasing to the eye, which may indicate she knew something about good, but it's like, why would she eat a fruit of the knowledge of good and evil if she already knows what's good and evil? If that makes sense.
Yeah. And why did God create her knowing that she didn't know good from evil, knowing that she would eat the fruit, and knowing that it would result in the suffering of billions of people over time? And yet he decided to not only create her still, but to create her with that tree right there and to just move forward with everything. That's where a lot of my questioning first started, which hence Eve was framed.
Yeah, I just never brought up the big, I know it sounds silly, but it's like I just never thought to bring up those big questions because it's like, you're just told it and you're like, okay, whatever, like that's what it is, you know, like it is what it is, but it's like, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the
Follow those.
if that is deconstructed, like even like in the like Genesis with like evolution, and if I'm supposed to believe that Adam came from death, and we know that humans don't come from death, like these big things, like if I can deconstruct that of the Eve story, like there's no reason for any woman to be ever subjected to a man ever. You know?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm honestly so excited for you, Z. I really appreciate the bravery that it takes for you to ask these questions, and I just wish you the best of luck with all of that.
Yeah, thank you for calling, Z, and sharing your experience with us.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great night, Z. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, she's really sweet. I'm excited for her.
Me too. And it was cool to like hear her like talk about all of that in real time. She's like, I'm literally reading it and this is really confusing and doesn't make sense actually. And to like we're sitting here and we're just like, yeah, exactly. And that it was like, it's cool to hear her ask questions and figure this all out and like navigate this like on the call with us. I'm excited for her.
That's some good critical thinking skills, trying to work their muscle. It's funny because you can be an excellent critical thinker in all areas of life, but thanks to cognitive dissonance, you can be like, then I'm not gonna touch this thing over there. But then once you allow yourself to apply it, it just all falls apart so fast because you have been exercising those tools most likely in other areas of life already. So I liked that call.
Thanks for watching that clip. Hey, we're trying to do some data research about whether or not our callers successfully proved that God existed. If they didn't, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's how we know they failed. But if you don't like and subscribe, you're saying that they succeeded. So you're saying that by liking and subscribing, you will be affirming that you are an atheist. Hey, what else should they do?
I don't know. Maybe go to patreon.com/calltheline and donate some of their hard-earned money.
Like and subscribe.